we live?
Oh, perfect.
All right. Welcome to CellarPassTV live at Hall Wine St. Helena. I am your host, Sarah Elliman. And today we have the wonderful funny girl of BCellars, Christina Machamer, with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And in just a few minutes, we're going to be sipping these killer whites that you brought with us. And of course, find out all about that new facility you guys are working on. But first, what's going on in wine country? I'm glad you asked. These are all great questions. Well, it's hot and sunny, and that means that it has been pushing those grapes closer and closer to their absolute goal of becoming wine. And there's been a lot of rumor that harvest was going to start early this year. And I think, everyone has their bets placed, and I'm not sure what you put your coin on, but I heard rumors yesterday that the first grapes have been sighted in Benz and Rutherford.
Wow.
So I'm assuming those are probably sparkling wine grapes.
Correct.
Yep, and which is great because that's my favorite. But let's just give a nice little cheers to Harvest 2014 kicking off. Slowly but surely. Ching, 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 ching.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. And let's definitely hope for a very successful and bountiful harvest. There's lots of events going on. Events everywhere. If anybody knows about this valley, there is not a shortage of events. But let's talk about some of the hottest upcoming events. This weekend, we have the Art House Sessions at BCellars featuring a Bay Area sensation, Dreams. They are doing a very special performance. They're paring down their whole band down to just an intimate trio.
Wow.
And so it's going to be led by Carly Bond, their lead singer, which is going to be really exciting. Then you have the sensory analysis experience over at Rutherford Ranch Winery. So if you've ever wondered how winemakers learn how to taste wine like a pro, this is your event. So you're going to be able to learn how to identify all the components in the wine and really find out where that vanilla bean hint is coming from. So that's really exciting. And then, but there's more.
Oh boy.
There's the Summer Music Series at BR Cone Winery. This is a huge, huge event, and BR Cone is founded by the manager of the Doobie Brothers, so definitely he's got a little bit of a know in the music biz. And so they have this weekend Gin, a band with a unique style encompassing various cultures and influence, and songs sung mostly in French. So that's kind of cool.
Wow.
And of course, don't forget to get your tickets to the Catherine Hall release in September. Early bird tickets end August 1st, so get those tickets. You don't want to be left out, and you don't want to have to pay $90. So why not get them for $75 this week? I say, and it's going to be a fantastic event. And that's right here at Hall.
Wow.
All right, so let's meet Christina. Yay, Christina.
There was so much fanfare. Thanks, guys.
That's what you get when you come here. What did you bring us in glass number one?
Okay, so I kind of planned this based on our weather. It's about 106 degrees outside, but very low humidity, so we planned that. So we start off with a little bit of rosé, which is really kind of a fun one. We only do about 80 cases of this wine. So mostly Cabernet, 85%, 15% Syrah, and this wine kind of started off as an accident. So it's made using a technique called saignée, which sounds really romantic. And it's basically where you have more juice in the tank than skins. And the skins give it the color and they give it kind of the viscosity and the mouthfeel. So what they'll do is they'll use a saignée method, or they'll bleed off. They basically open the valve at the bottom of the tank and let the juice come out. And usually it goes kind of down the drain. So it was my first year, 2011, in the wine industry, and it was our assistant winemaker's first harvest at BCellars, and we said, instead of putting it down the drain, let's put it in a barrel and let's, just see what happens. So a couple of months go by, and it comes to be about January, and we try it, and we're like, this stuff is good. We could actually kind of sell this. So our owners, BCellars, were two family owned. They're both gentlemen. And they go to us and they say, we're not making any pink wine. That's not what we do. And
not
we're
very
like,
manly at all.
but it's actually really delicious. So we came up with this idea, right? And we do a lot of private tastings back in our cellar. And we would take people back and we would barrel sample some of this rosé and talk about it and let them know. And originally, in 2011, we only had 35 cases. So if you like it, let me know. I can go ahead and put your name on it. So we were the only winery in Napa Valley selling futures of rosé. So when it came time to bottle, they of course still said no, and we had half of it sold, so they didn't get much of a choice. So year to year, when the climate is right, Kirk Vange, our winemaker, will acquiesce and make some rosé, which has become sort of our members' favorite. It's a staff favorite. So this is from the 2013 vintage. So really kind of brand new. It's kind of fun to taste the first of the 2013s coming out. And we're actually going to be going back in time in our tasting. So we've got a wine from 2013, we've got one from 2012, and one from 2011. So
this is going to be exciting.
It's so much safer than actual time travel.
Well, sometimes parts of you don't make it, and that can be a little odd.
Or like the fly where you get, kind of scrambled. So that won't happen here. I actually, it could be horrible. Yeah, we asked for permission, but Hall doesn't allow us to transfigure ourselves, so maybe later.
It's not their use permit.
Yeah, exactly.
Silly permits.
Exactly.
This is exciting. This is delicious.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to try it because it's one of the few wines I have not tried of BCellars, and I'm definitely a fan.
That's because there's never any left, Sarah. Oh, yeah. So it's really a fun one. I know we've got some folks from the audience. I know you're from Virginia. Are you from here in Napa?
I'm from here in Napa.
So I'm always interested when people smell wines to just kind of tell me what it reminds you of. I'm from Missouri, so a really good hallmark, and this is a super fun trick. If you're having a bunch of friends over and you're doing a wine tasting, I smell in this strawberry rhubarb pie. Whenever anybody says strawberry rhubarb pie, you know that they're from the Midwest. I see it a lot here in tasting rooms. So if somebody says Saskatoon berry, they're probably from Canada. Just a guess there.
Surf berry? Well,
yeah, exactly.
They're probably not old enough to drink.
I smell strawberry.
I do smell strawberry.
I don't know what rhubarb is, but
it looks like red celery.
Yeah. So Lisa, where are you from?
Southern California.
Yeah, not the Midwest. No rhubarb. Not a whole lot of rhubarb there in Southern California. Yeah. So it's really a fun one. So for a rosé, it's super effusive. It just jumps out of the glass. You'll get a lot of red fruits, but almost like unripe. So I would say like white strawberries. You get almost like a little hint of cranberry, but completely dry on the palate. So perfect for when you want to drink a Cabernet, but it's 106 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's not good to drink Cabernet at 106 degrees.
Right.
It's terrible.
So
it's
cheers.
not cab
This
weather.
is the Cabernet for summer.
Aw, cheers. Well done. And I'm just syncing up here with our Twittosphere to get our bloggers going here. I just need to switch over to a different network.
Yeah, I don't tweet, but Lisa, you tweet a lot.
No.
You don't?
I do.
Okay.
No, we have a social media team that's
we just
doing it.
Oh,
watch.
good.
Oh, here we go. Now
Are there
I
any
have
like
to-
do's and don'ts of tweeting?
I don't know.
Don't tweet everything you're thinking, is what I've learned. It's not good.
It's limited though. It's like 140
yeah, you
characters.
You make it concise and quick and snappy, and but
Just get on the keyboard and just do a bunch of stuff.
and make people wonder. That's always fun too.
Right.
But yeah.
Start the conversation.
Absolutely. Well, we are finally getting. Oh wow, lots of stuff going on in here. It's amazing when you connect to the internet what will happen. It's like magic. Woo. All right. I do want to give a shout out to our rockstar bloggers. We have a messed up microphone. My sources tell me. Gee, I'm just a mess.
Do you want me to help you with that?
Oh, could you? Thank you.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for a different show.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we do have our rockstar bloggers. We have Giselle Quillen from My Vine Spot. We have Mario Barrios from Flawless Crowns, and we have our newest rockstar blogger, Bill Thompson from Bill's Wine Wandering. So thank you guys for tuning in today.
Yeah, cheers.
Look forward to hearing and reading all your tweets, and we're already getting tweets coming in. And was the rosé stored in neutral barrels, and will you do all stainless steel next time? It's delicious.
Yes, it was stored in neutral barrels. So it starts out, and really we used neutral barrels because we didn't have much else. So we'll get into this a little bit later, but BCellars has some super exciting news.
Ding, 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 ding.
We are opening up a new wine facility. We'll be open, cross your fingers, mid-August. I don't want to jinx it by telling you an exact date of like August 16th or something. But our new facility, so we were previously in Calistoga. We were at a rented facility. I don't know if you've driven by there.
It's gone.
It's gone. Wrecking ball, it's gone. And I really wanted to ride the wrecking ball like Miley Cyrus, but that wasn't part of our use permit. It wasn't allowed. So our old tasting room is deconstructed, and they're going to be building a Four Seasons up there. So a lot of excitement coming to Calistoga. So horrible for us, right? We had to leave our leased premise.
Your beautiful little cellar.
But you said a
Lots of alliteration there with L words. And so we moved down to Oakville. So we're now in the heart of Napa Valley. We're on the Oakville Crossroad. It's a property that we own and that we built from the ground up, which my owners say they will never, ever do again. And having our own bigger production facility, we source from 18 different vineyards. So we're bringing in a lot of fruit from a lot of different places, and it's all super small lots. So our new fermentation area has tanks, and we have them just as small as 1 ton. So we're able to do it not only by varietal, by vineyard, but now by different blocks within the vineyard. So yes, on wines like this, you will be seeing a lot more stainless usage, and that'll be great. And then on our reds, still continuing to use a good amount of barrel aging, and we built a 16,000 square foot cave to put those in. So a lot of things are changing.
That is big news. I can't wait to check it out.
I know.
And like, oh, it's
I know. I kind of
big.
jumped ahead, didn't I? Sorry, I get excited, and then I'm like, let's talk about this.
But you got more than just wine going on there. You've got animals.
We've got a lot. So I like to call it the gastronomic epicenter of Napa Valley.
I like that.
I know.
It's a nice ring to it.
You know, we like to underpromise and overdeliver, so we went with that name there. But really, we craft wines that we think are really food friendly. So this rosé, for example, I love it with Mediterranean food. Grilled octopus, ratatouille. I mean, it can really kind of stand up to some big foods, especially in the summer. I hear from a lot of gentlemen that they like to smoke cigars with it. I'll just have to take their word. So with that kind of mindset about crafting our wines, we wanted to build a facility that really centered around food and wine and sustainability and everything that makes Napa Valley great. So we don't have a tasting bar. There is no bar that you can come and stand at. We took that out. Hi, Tristan. He's not drinking wine yet.
He's training.
He's training. Yeah, exactly.
It's summer. What can we say?
Yeah. So instead of a tasting bar, we put in a fully functioning demonstration kitchen. And that's where our chef operates, doing some culinary demos and doing some education just on food and wine pairings. We have a huge culinary garden outside. We got to build it ourselves from the ground up, which we never do again. We have a little bit of livestock. Hall is an animal-free facility, so don't bring your dairy goats. We have 20 heads of chicken. We have 5 different beehives, which is really exciting. That translates into more honey than you will ever use in your life.
I will help you.
And then, of course, the production facility and the wine caves. So the idea is to really take people kind of on a journey from grape to glass and then show them how they can enjoy our wines in their home. Of course, with food, because where does everybody end up when you have people over, but in the kitchen? Or at least they do at my house.
Right. So what was your biggest challenge in putting in the from ground up garden?
Oh, goodness. So our biggest challenge overall has just been that construction doesn't work on your timeline. Construction happens when construction wants to. So we found out that we got to put in a very amazing, expensive water filtration system, which sort of held things up. And you know, in California, we're in a drought. Water's pretty important. Yeah. I can say on pretty good authority, we have the best filtered water in Napa Valley. If it's not the best, it's the most expensive, so come by, try our water.
Silver chalice.
So no water, no garden. So we started actually planting our culinary garden, and we made a decision to plant from seed. So accounting loves it, right? Because seeds are like a couple pennies and plants are a couple dollars. And we went over, we went across the hill, don't tell anybody, we went to Petaluma.
To go to the seed bank?
To go to the seed bank, which, by the way, the plants, they're amazing. If you haven't seen the Petaluma Seed Bank, it's amazing. So a lot of their plants originated in a farm in Mansfield, Missouri. So being a kid out of Missouri with a chef from Missouri, we'll give a big shout out. So we got, 40 different kinds of tomatoes, and I think we have 16 different types of corn. We're from Missouri, we like corn. So we planted them all in the spring. Well, now our plants are getting dwarfed. There's no water. We can't put them in the ground. We wanted to build a rock wall, but I don't know how to do that. So we went with a fence, thank goodness.
Rocks would keep falling. We're like, what is wrong?
Yeah. So, there's so many challenges to doing it. And luckily we had some really great mentorship from Robert Sinsky and the Napa Valley Reserve and Silver Oak and all people that have amazing gardens to begin with. So we emulate you. We're not quite there yet. So it was a lot of fun.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how it all progresses.
I know.
But gardening is hard. This is my second year with the home garden, and last year I went overzealous with tomatoes.
Oh boy.
I got this great water trough and probably put like 5 tomato plants in this thing, and I mean it was nuts. And then my poor little cucumber was like this big, going, "Help me!"
Right.
So this year I stuck with 2 tomatoes instead of
Okay.
5.
That's really restrained.
It was really restrained. It was hard to pick the right tomatoes, and so I learned a lot of things about growing seasons and the maturity time. Apparently last year I picked ones that had like 120-day growth cycles, so I learned that there's some that have like 90 days. And I'm like, well, I would like to eat my tomatoes sometime this summer, so I'm going to go with that. So we got these beautiful heirloom Jubilees, and what I found was an heirloom Roma tomato, which is like this big.
Wow.
Tiny little thing.
That is tiny.
Which I was like, oh, I got cherry tomatoes. I'm like, no, those are baby Romas. So I'm really excited about that. But it's so rewarding, I think, when you can actually start pulling your harvest out of your garden, and even if it's like 1 tomato, you're like, this is ours, right?
Then you have to like cut it into 12 pieces to share with all your friends.
Exactly.
Try this tomato, I grew it.
But it's so fun, and you learn things like right now. This other thing, I put the zucchini in the trough last year. Well, zucchini get like this big, and they kind of take over the whole space there. So that got put into the regular ground this year.
Oh my gosh.
And then we learned little things about when to water and when not to water, because I have little shriveled zucchinis and I have bigger zucchinis, and I had to go to Mom. Like, Mom, what is wrong with my zucchini? And
Oh,
she's like,
no.
honey, chances are when it was fruiting at that moment in time, you just didn't have enough water, and it just went, and I was like, yeah, that seems about right.
Wow.
So now they're flooding my zucchini. I got like a $500 water bill. It's fantastic. So,
fantastic. Yeah.
Most expensive zucchini ever, and I hope it's going to be really good.
Fantastic. Yeah, gardening is way too tough for me. I prefer farmers markets personally, but it's been kind of fun for us to kind of challenge us to think outside of the box when it comes to food and wine pairings, because vegetables are not necessarily go-to or easy for food pairings. And so we have had to really experiment and put things together, and that's been kind of challenging and really hard homework, when you have to drink wine and eat amazing vegetables out of the garden and just try and figure out how they go together. So
That is so cool.
yeah.
The winery sounds amazing from Flawless Crowns. And 13 Rosé Light Salmon Color, bright melody of fleshy red berry fruit with a dry, crisp finish and very food friendly.
Wow, fleshy red fruits. Would that be like south? Where who's that from?
That is from Dizelle, and he is in Virginia.
Virginia's not really the south, right? But I mean, northern.
Southish.
It's south of me, so that kind of works.
It's definitely more humid than it is here,
Yeah.
so I give it south.
Right.
What else do we got? Bill Thompson, happy to be on CellarPassTV. Yay!
Fantastic.
We're here too. And could you talk about, not could you, but you talk about your wines so passionately. Cheers to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And
Flattery will get you everywhere.
what is your favorite part of the day?
Wine time, which it is right now.
It's Wine Wednesday. It's wine time.
Yeah, no, there's so many favorite parts of the day. I mean, I work in the wine industry. How horrible is it? It's really fun 90% of the time, and the 10% that it's not fun, there's wine at the end of the day.
So that's how we get through these things.
Yes, exactly.
We
It's
are
really
so
rough.
spoiled.
So yeah, I have lots of favorite times of the day, but it's about to be kind of now when it's sunset. Napa Valley gets really cold at night, so you have this like brief window where it's still warm and not too warm from the day and not too cold at night. So that's probably my favorite time.
That is a good time of the day.
It's also quitting time.
All these things kind of happen at the same time.
Amazing, right?
It's a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, what do we think, audience, about the rosé?
Very amazing. Refreshing. The
And
color is beautiful.
The color is gorgeous.
It's a big, manly rosé. It's got a lot of body. It's got a lot of flavor to it. And, I mean, we are owned by 2 gentlemen, so I guess it's a reflection of that.
So it all worked out. It's pink, but not too pink.
Correct.
It's delicious.
Oh, good. So I'm really excited. I want to jump ahead because
Okay.
so
Moving right on.
the next wine, we are going back in time, 2012 vintage, is a Sauvignon Blanc. So since we were talking so much about the garden, this is like my go-to garden pairing wine because Sauvignon Blanc is got this amazing acid structure and it's so forgiving. And it's just like anything that I don't know what to pair with, most of the time it's Sauvignon Blanc. Like green beans, what wine do you pair with Sauvignon Blanc? Asparagus, chives, jalapeno, zucchini.
I got purple zucchini. What do you got?
Fantastic. I don't have purple zucchini. But
Well, all right.
we
Sauvignon
could trade
Blanc.
though. I do have Sauvignon Blanc.
can work this out.
So this one is going to be a little bit different for a Sauvignon Blanc because this grows in a vineyard in Pope Valley. So Pope Valley is a section of Napa Valley that's in the extreme northeast. So it's furthest away from the ocean. It's a lot warmer. And this vineyard, Juliana Vineyard, is huge. It grows on a little bit of elevation. But that kind of elevation, that warm climate, you don't get a lot of like the grass, the hay, the kind of lime characters that you expect with a Sauvignon Blanc. You get those from areas a little bit further south. This one you get more kind of tropical citrus. And I always think of like Tuscan melon, and you almost get this like guava, passion fruit, which makes it perfect to pair with bacon.
Of course.
Right, of course.
The perfect bacon pairing.
Right, now that you've paired everything, so when you make your green beans, add in a little bacon, and then you'll be just right with this wine.
This also would then be a fantastic breakfast wine.
Yes, correct, absolutely. It's also lower in alcohol, so great with children.
Oh, better. Even
Yeah,
better.
I don't think of Sauvignon Blanc with breakfast. This is kind of like my pool wine. I always go with Chardonnay at breakfast because you get one that has just a little bit of oak to it, and you get some nice creme brulee notes. And I'm a frosted flake girl, so the two kind of pair really well together. So I recommend trying it.
I will. I will next time I have frosted
Do you put the
flakes.
Chardonnay and the Frosted Flakes, or do you actually?
I keep the two separate. I use almond milk and
I was gonna say,
Chardonnay
kind of
and almond milk,
milk.
and putting it together not so good. But swallow, then drink your wine. You'll enjoy it quite a bit.
Excellent, excellent. And then you can get that nutty texture from the almond milk. Which
Exactly.
Is good. So nice.
Yeah,
Well
we
played.
work on it.
Absolutely. Bill Thompson says that the rosé would be fantastic with a strawberry salad. But it would. Absolutely. That'd be
Absolutely.
delicious. And
With bacon.
With bacon. Absolutely with bacon.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was fixating.
Yeah, you're so funny. And we have my Vine Spot coming in with fleshy, back to the rosé, in a sense that this rosé can stand up to fatty fish like grilled salmon, tuna, etc. Absolutely delicious, delicious pairings. And but we're on to Sauvignon Blanc. So we have established this Sauvignon Blanc will pair very well with bacon. Personal favorite in my household.
Yes.
So we're going to have to try this. And bacon is also kind of like the little black dress of foods. It can take you through anything. And it can also make anything taste better. You can say, how can you go wrong with bacon?
Right.
Don't know how to, spice up those green beans? Bacon.
Bacon.
It's
Well,
so easy.
and moving to Napa Valley, so like everywhere else, they talk about like bikini season, and I mean we don't really have bikini season here.
It's really hard to have bikini season here.
But in the
We drink and eat
fall,
so much.
we do have bacon season, which means like that's when the swimsuit goes away and you can start to eat more bacon, which is kind of that's my favorite time of the year personally.
Do you wear the bacon, or are you eating the bacon?
We're not Lady Gaga. Come on.
Yeah, I don't wear my food intentionally. There have been occasions where,
More of
but
an accessory than it is a statement piece.
right, exactly. So, but we're really excited about this one. So, of course, you can't predict harvest, but we're going through the vineyards right now. It's such an exciting time, and we're measuring the degrees Brix, B-R-I-X, which is a scale that we measure the sugar content in the grapes at the time of harvest. And of course, sugar feeds yeast so that we get alcohol and carbon dioxide.
And this is what you get.
Exactly. So BCellars, which we do a lot of blended wines, and B should have stood for blends or bacon. It actually is the scientific symbol for degrees Brix. And so they're talking, and they're two family owned, right? I have to come up with a name. Of course, in 2003, when we started, all the really great names were already taken, and they realized that the symbol had never been copywritten. So we stole it, we trademarked it, we got it. So that's what they're doing right now with harvest. They're going through the vineyards, and they're measuring the degrees Brix. And I've done this. It's not that hard. It's not really all that scientific. You go up and down a row of vines, and you pull grapes from here and there, from different clusters, put them in a Ziploc bag, squish them out, squeeze the juice out. You put it in a refractometer.
Ooh, there's the scientific part.
Right, and you look through it, and it shows you the scale. So we want to make sure that the wine has enough sugar to create the alcohol and the balance that we want, but still preserve the acidity. So for a wine like Sauvignon Blanc, we're going to pick when it reaches 23 degrees Brix. So to put that just in perspective, grapes at a grocery store, 17 to 19. So it's slightly more ripe. So if there is a prediction for harvest, these grapes for the Sauvignon Blanc are going to come in August 12th. So almost time.
What am I pointing at, Director?
We're playing charades here in the background.
Sounds like, looks like.
Sounds like Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. I just pulled up Twitter. And we have some feedback.
Oh.
Look at that.
Perfect.
Maybe you should do this.
If you could actually, so that we don't get confused, if you could actually do like a T, W, if you go through the whole thing.
T-Y-M-C-A, it'd be great. All right, so our Twitter sphere is coming in. This Blanc is stellar. I can see how you would think veggies with the selection. Any spinach suggestions?
Yes, add bacon. No. So funny thing, my stepmom can't cook. She actually, when you make like the boxed mac and cheese and it, like the Kraft kind that comes from a powder.
And it says like, just add this.
Yeah, you strain your pasta into a strainer. She didn't think to put it back into the pan before adding like the powder and the milk and the butter.
Do you know how that all worked?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. However, she made this amazing spinach salad, and it had just a little bit of strawberries in it. It had some bacon. You can use pancetta if you want. Just make sure it's crispy. And then she used a dry-aged cheese. So living here, I would say I really like Vella's Dry Jack, but a Parmesan Reggiano. And then she took a jar of like this poppy seed dressing and mixed it up with a little bit of orange juice and tossed it in that, and it was amazing. It was incredible. So I like notes of that with this because you get a little acidity there from that kind of orange juice. You get that saltiness of the bacon, and you do have some spinach there, and that makes it healthy. So
that sounds delicious.
Yes.
And anyone can do it.
Exactly.
So it makes it simple. Cooking doesn't have to be overcomplicated, and wine pairings don't have to be intimidating.
Right, exactly.
Because I think people go, I don't know what to pair with this wine, and they go into meltdown and they freak out. And there's like all these self-help centers and books on this subject, and it's actually kind of freaky for me because I'm like, you know what? Taste your wine, eat your food. Did it work? Fantastic. You found a pairing. Done.
Right. Wine pairings are just like people pairings. I use trial and error. And it works really well. So, sometimes they really are like people pairings. Like sometimes you'll do a pairing and it's like, these do not go together at all anyway. Sometimes you'll have them and they're just kind of neutral. And then sometimes you have and it's like, bam, wow, why haven't I been doing that all along? So.
And that's all you have to do. Because if you like it, then it works.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Like, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. You like it, it works, fantastic, stick with it. But yeah, you're going to find out what works and what doesn't. I've had some horrific pairings, and it's like, whoa, that was a bad idea.
Right,
Woo, next course. And then, like I said, other times it's like, oh my gosh, this is like heaven. And you should. Like, I had one just the other day. I had this amazing 2005 Cabernet Sauvignon paired with the barely buzzed goat cheese.
Yes, I've had that one before.
And it's like they were made for each other.
Nice.
It was the most perfect pairing, heavenly in balance, and it was like, you should just get a wheel of this cheese and sell them together because nothing else is ever going to compare at this level for this wine.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Well, and barely buzzed is kind of an interesting cheese because it's an aged cheese, so the salinity is concentrated. So anything aged, great with cab.
And better for those that are lactose intolerant.
Yes, exactly. And then they like rub the rind with all of these coffee grounds, which, by the way, use a clean knife when you cut it. I've seen, because you take the coffee grounds and you'll spread them all throughout your cheese, and if you're not cleaning your knife each time, it's just going to look like a hot mess. But it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and definitely just experiment. Experiment.
Yes.
All I can say is, have fun with it. Don't freak out. You can go with the tried and true, red with meats and whatnot, and whites with your fish, and those are pretty safe.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Things, and it isn't fun. I think,
I'm not really a rule follower, so sorry about that one.
No, break the rules.
Oh, no.
Have fun with it and get crazy. I did find, I decided on my entree when I was doing a flight of Cabernets the other day, so it was really fun. But I wasn't feeling heavy dishes, so I was like, I will take the salmon on the cucumber, thank you. And I did find 2 Cabernets that went perfectly. And I was like, this actually works really well. So it can happen. You just have to be willing to try it and figure it out and play with it. And not all wines are created equal. And but on that note, speaking of wine, studio audience, what are we thinking about the Sauvignon Blanc?
It's very good. Probably not a lot of the bitterness you find.
It's delicious. What would you pair with it?
Scallops.
Good one. I was going to say seafood as well. Absolutely.
Dinner.
And so other than bacon, darling, what would you pair with this Sauvignon Blanc?
So with this Sauvignon Blanc, we actually do a really amazing compressed melon salad with prosciutto. That's not bacon, but it is a pork product. So I really like that with it. I'm sorry, was that too close?
You're so funny.
You are so funny.
It's really beautiful. You get your prosciutto ribbons, and then we take some of the trim from the melon, and we throw it in the blender, and we buzz it, and we cook it down, and we make this amazing vinaigrette. So Sauvignon Blanc, because you're dealing with a wine that has a good amount of acidity to it, you want to kind of stay within those bounds. So something like goat cheese has a lot of acid to it, so you could do a nice summer salad with some goat cheese. I would just stay away from heavy cream, because we all know what happens with lemon and cream, it curdles, and that's kind of gross. But even like a steak, if you wanted to do a steak on the grill, squeeze some lemon on it right before it comes out, and then you'll add the acidity from the lemon, you'll have the acidity in the wine, and it's a really nice pairing.
You're always so much fun to talk to. You give me all these great ideas.
Well, you know, sometimes they're not such great ideas. I have been known as the instigator.
I've heard that.
Yes. Yeah. I prefer children around age 5 because they think everything I say is true.
Oh yeah. Mommy, guess what I learned?
Yeah,
I told
exactly.
You that. Christina.
I'm not asked to babysit often.
Oh, why not? I'd hire you in an instant.
I know, right? I have never lost a child before. It's great.
It is good.
I know.
That's all we ask, really.
No. I mean, just because, you teach the kids to roll their shirt up and say girls gone wild, it's not my fault. I'm the worst aunt.
You don't sound like you're the best aunt.
Yeah, no, my niece is too. She has no idea what I'm talking about. So.
Your sister's like, no.
I know.
Too funny. But so, Christine, tell us a little bit about your history. I know not all of our viewers and everybody has had the opportunity to meet you. What got you inspired to be in the wine business?
Oh gosh, well my parents drink a lot. They've been doing that since I was a child. I'm not quite sure why. And so wine has always been kind of a part of my life. I grew up in St. Louis, and it's just really close to a place called Augusta, Missouri, which was the first agricultural area for wine in the country. Napa Valley was number 2, just so you know. Big ups, Missouri.
Don't tell Napa Valley that.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it's just history. You can't argue with history. But we were always kind of a food-centric family, whether we meant to be or not. My mom was a nurse, and so she was away a lot, so we had to kind of fend for ourselves. And my brother and I would always tease each other to see who would eat the weirdest thing.
Nice.
You know, like we always, like we're kids like fighting over the trout eye because we just wanted to sick each other out by eating it. So I grew up and wanted to be a lawyer. Clearly, as you can tell. Yeah, it didn't work out so well for me. But I went to school to do that for a while, and I hated it. And I said, okay, so how can I work in a restaurant for the rest of my life, which also didn't work out very well for me, and not be a 40-year-old server? And I said, okay, so here's what I want to do. I think that if I could become a chef, that would make it like totally legit, right? And I could just stay working in restaurants for the rest of my life.
Those hours are awesome.
Yeah, they're great, and you get paid so much money. So I went to culinary school. I went to the Culinary Institute in Hyde Park, New York. They have a sister school here. I went to the real one. It's in New York. It's fighting words. No, we all get along. There's 2,500 of us. There's 200 of them. We'll win. And about a semester before I was supposed to graduate, I had an opportunity to audition for a reality television show called Hell's Kitchen, which, by the way, just to plug, they're casting right now. Twins talent. I just got 14 emails in a row. So if you are crazy, go audition. If you're sane, stay at home and watch. So I was somewhat crazy, and so I went down to Manhattan. It was an open casting call. I ended up getting cast, and I won their 4th season, and that changed trajectories for me a little bit. So I had a really cool job when I graduated from culinary school. I just couldn't tell anybody about it until the show aired. So after school, I opened up a restaurant for Gordon Ramsay in West Hollywood called Gordon Ramsay. No.
It wasn't really that long on that one.
It was really
Did
original.
They draw straws?
It was original. It was the second restaurant in the country named Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay Dose or
The first one
anything?
was called just Dick.
No, and not Deuce either. Careful, he's here a lot. Victoria and her husband have a house like right over there. So after
Can you point it out later? We'll figure out which one
it's on Zinfandel Lane. It's right next to Flora Springs. Look for the helicopter. That's their house. Or the guy that's like standing there like this. That's also their house. Sorry, was I not supposed to say that?
No, well, now we have competition for our haunted house.
I know. Yeah.
Very disappointed.
No, they're really wonderful people. So after that, I had an opportunity to open up a Bouchon in Beverly Hills for Thomas Keller. So I did that for a couple of years. I cooked fish, because cooking fish is for ladies. At least that's what we told the gentleman that wanted to cook the fish.
It's a delicate dish.
Yeah. You need somebody that's like fast and can multitask. So we were actually, we'll digress for 1 second. I promise I won't geek out too much. Typically the people that in a brigade system that roast the proteins are men, and the people that cook the vegetables are the ladies. So at one time at Bouchon in Beverly Hills, we had Allie, who was a beautiful, tall, buxom blonde Sheila from Australia roasting meat. You had me cooking fish, and we let the men do the veg. So everything ran very smoothly. So I was there for I was there for about 2 years, and then I had an opportunity to come up here and study wine. I was a certified sommelier before. I'm now studying for my advanced for 4.5 years. I've been
so you know where the
studying.
vanilla bean comes from.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still studying. So I started working for BCellars. It was my first job in the wine industry, and they promised me a kitchen, and 4 years later, if we pass our health inspection next week, I love you, Lisa Clark, we may actually have a kitchen, so it'll be a lot of fun. So now I get to kind of do both.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And we have more feedback. I love it.
Oh, perfect. We have more wine, too.
I know. We have an incredible wine going on over here.
No, don't worry. I brought enough.
Oh, thank God. I was actually worried because we're like running low here.
When's the grand opening party?
Grand opening party will be around harvest. So we always throw a huge harvest party. So it didn't make any sense for us to do 2 separate ones. By huge harvest party, what I mean is we can only see 60 people per day by advanced reservation. So it'll be a very intimate gathering. You can buy tickets on CellarPass.com as soon as I put them up there.
Right.
So
It'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't wait to unveil the property and check it out.
my goodness. Yes.
And see your kitchen. You've been
Yes.
talking about this kitchen for so long.
I know.
And we'll have the
It
kitchen.
exists. It's real, I promise. We actually got all the equipment delivered last
There's a
week.
photo
They
on the
finished
wall.
install next week. It's amazing. So
I'm
yeah.
very happy for you, and that's really, really cool. But we got feedback.
Oh, what do we
Love
have?
it. We got some cool stuff coming in here. And this is real this time. I mean, like last time we had to make up our own questions.
We did make up our
That
own.
was like in the early days.
It was
of CellarPass
much
TV.
more interesting.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, actually.
So Sarah.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
All right. So we have Sauvignon Blanc with passion fruit, melon, peach skin, zesty, acidity, ample body, and harmonious.
Wow.
Now, I should hire Dizelle to write your
I
tasting notes.
know.
He's brilliant.
If you could just substitute my name for Sauvignon Blanc, that would be great.
For me, this is also coming from my vine spot,
Mm-hmm.
a big bowl of mussels with fries, this 12 Sauvignon Blanc, and a splash of the wine and the sauce.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Bill Thompson says Sauvignon Blanc would drink well in my boat on a hot Minnesota summer day.
Wow.
Heck yeah, awesome. And CMac rocks, really making me hungry over here.
Wow, who said that?
That is my vine spot, that's Dizelle.
Wow.
I think you got a new fan.
That's my secret nickname. Nobody's supposed to know that.
Well, there it is.
CMac. It comes from handwritten ticket days. Huh, that'll date me. So you're working in a restaurant, you don't have a micros POS system, so you've got to handwrite tickets. So you usually put the table number / your initials. Well, our chef was Carrie McDowell. He was already CM, so I had to be CMAC, and then it kind of stuck for like 12 years. So
And it works.
yes,
See?
it does.
It's yours. You own it.
I know.
People who haven't met you know what it is. It's fantastic. All right, dear. Are we
So
moving on to
wine number
mystery wine?
3. So we call this one Blend 23 because clearly it was named for my age. No, it's named for roughly the ripeness of the grapes at the time of harvest. So we want some of those Sauvignon Blanc grapes to come in at 23 degrees Brix. So that's what we call this. It's not scientific, right? Not every single grape was picked at exactly 23, but as the number gets bigger, the wine and style gets bigger. So we do 4 numbered blends. This is the first one, and it's a really cool blend that you're not going to find elsewhere in Napa Valley. 51% Chardonnay. That does see some barrel fermentation, so it'll get about 40% New French Oak. Then the next largest part, 37%, is Sauvignon Blanc that you just tasted. And then the balance is Viognier, so about 12% there. Again, we're going back in time. This is a 2011. The Chardonnay gets a little bit more time in barrel, usually about 24 months. So it's kind of a fun blend for us. We started out doing Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc, which you will see, especially over in Australia. And then we had one of our restaurant accounts, it was an Asian restaurant account, that said, hey, could you do something that would help this to go a little bit better with spice? So Kirk started to blend the Viognier together, and we were like, voila, done.
Easy.
So again, you have some Pope Valley fruit, that Sauvignon Blanc, and the Viognier as well. It's from Usa Valley Vineyard. So you're just getting like, Viognier is like super weighty, floral perfumey. It really kind of punches out that finish. And then the Chardonnay is from south of Napa, closer, it's a little bit colder, closer to the ocean, from Maldonado Vineyard, which is an amazing family vineyard. So kind of a fun one for us.
So you mentioned that an Asian restaurant asked you to kind of make a blend that would suit more of their spicy foods.
Correct.
So, and I know I have the hardest time picking a wine, like we go for Chinese or anything like that. It's impossible. It's like, you look at the wine list, you go with the food, and you're like, nah, never mind. I mean, unless you're drinking bubbles. Of course, bubbles goes with everything.
Or Sapporo, but that's not
So then you end up
wine.
going with Sapporo or sake, and, and that's how that all happens. But what would you pair in the Asian culinary world?
Oh my goodness. So with this wine, I like really anything that has spice. We don't have a lot of Asian restaurants here in Napa Valley, unfortunately, but we have a lot of Mexican. So I love Mexican foods, and especially because like when you get into some of the sauces and some of the spices, it can be really overpowering. This wine loves anything aromatic. So it loves cilantro, and it loves jalapenos, it loves cumin. So anything that has kind of those notes to it. It also pairs beautifully with seafood, with scallops in particular. I always think of that kind of Chardonnay, those vanilla creme brulee, that toasted marshmallow notes. And then, of course, Asian food, which particularly I like a lot of Thai food with this. Also, Chinese food, particularly around the capital. They tend to cook with a little bit more kind of zest and zeal and spice and flavor and punch. And so, I don't know. You could start there and then go forward.
Add bacon.
Yes.
And then it'll be fine.
Yeah. Not a lot of bacon in
No.
Asian food.
No, you don't. And no dairy.
Yeah, which is so healthy.
I know. It's crazy. And they always age so beautifully. I wonder
Yeah.
what their secret is. All right. So, moving on.
I said wine, but that was probably, I got the wrong answer, didn't I?
I think it's the no bacon, no dairy. So sad.
Well, trial and error. I'll try one. I'll tell you how it turns out.
There's no wine. That's too funny. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I'm
Let's
throwing
go
things
down.
at you.
All right, Blend 23 paired very well with fish tacos. Had it last night. Way to go, Bill. I bet that would be delish. Absolutely. And you were saying this just loves cumin, so this would also be a great barbecue wine.
Yes.
A nice, really smoky, zesty barbecue sauce would just really cut.
Or even like a, I'm thinking like a Southwest chicken chili. Although it's not chilly weather, so
to buy
maybe
bottles.
later. Maybe later.
So where can people find BCellars wine?
Okay, so you can always go to our website, BCellars.com, and that's really the best place to find it because we're dealing with two wines, particularly these ones, which are only available at the winery. The Blend 23 you are going to be able to find out at restaurants, country clubs, some higher-end bottle shops, but we only produce about 4,700 cases, so we're about this big in relation to the rest of Napa Valley. So I would say come out and see us. Go to our website, or always you can go to your favorite bottle shop and request us.
4,700 total.
Total. 4,700 total, which makes us really teeny tiny.
With a really, really, really big culinary center.
Yes, exactly. Well, and even that's not so big, but no, it's really fun. So year to year, we always do the numbered blends, like the last one we tried, the Blend 23, and then our winemaker, Kirk, really has a lot of freedom. So he kind of reads the harvest, and if the Sauvignon Blanc is delicious that year, we do a Sauvignon Blanc, and we did 200 cases of this one, and it was really just for IB to come see us. So worse things could happen, I think.
Absolutely. It is phenomenal. All of your wines are phenomenal. It's one of my favorite things about BCellars. And when you visit BCellars, it's not one of those places you're like, I don't really know the name. You can rest assured the quality is off the charts. The wines are some of the best you will ever have. And your reds are just absolutely just breathtaking. I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, these are like incredible.
Yes.
And I drink a lot of wine. I'm not sure what that says about me, but I do.
I think it makes you fun.
Yeah, okay, thank God. It's improvement,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the thing I love most about not only working for BCellars, which is why I've stayed there for so darn long, but the new facility really allows you kind of an opportunity to experience wines. We don't have a tasting bar. You can go on to CellarPass.com right now and you can view all the different experiences that we have. But we do our Oakville Winery Trek, and I guess you would call that our basic tasting. It involves kind of a tour of the winery. You get to go through the caves, you do a barrel sample, and you end up doing a seated tasting with 3 kind of small little bites. In our cave, we have 2 private tasting rooms. So if you really want to geek out, and I mean, we get pretty geeky, we do a tasting called the Appellation Tasting. We source from 18 different vineyards. So if you've ever wanted to taste Cabernet from 4 distinct appellations, from same grape, right? Same guy, just different ground. It's really kind of fun. And then you can, afterwards, you can be like, oh, well, the volcanic soils of Coombsville. Across the hall from that, we have our heritage tasting. So there's a few vineyards that were planted back in the 1850s when Napa Valley first started making wine. And that's where we pour wines from those vineyards. So things like Tocalone and Dr. Crane and George III, and they're horrible Jews. And then if you have an appetite and you're really interested in food and wine pairing, we have a farm to fork pairing that we offer. It's during lunch hour. It's 4 courses.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell you it's lunch, but it's a really kind of in-depth look at pairing foods with wines and using a lot of things out of our garden. So kind of a fun educational experience for your palate.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait
Yes.
to check it out.
I
So
know.
excited. Some more feedback. Christina, I mean, B23 is amazing, soft but complex, with a very memorable finish. Would love to try some mussels with it. You can
Yes.
tell Gisele's all about, or actually that is Flaw's Crown. Sorry, I got you guys mixed up.
Mussels
today.
are like the food of the day.
It is.
You know what are the 2 most
Shellfish.
important things when you cook mussels? Trust me, I'm a fish cook. Parsley and black pepper.
Interesting.
It brings out kind of this briny ocean note. So whatever you're doing with your mussels,
Make sure there's
parsley,
parsley.
black pepper,
And bacon.
perhaps bacon.
Yeah, bacon.
Yeah.
All right. More feedback coming this time actually from Giselle, not
Uh-huh.
mine. Sorry, guys. The 11 blend has a nice textural qualities with tree fruit, stone fruit, and honeysuckle flavors. Lengthy finish. And being from New Orleans, give me a generous serving of crawfish etouffee with the BCellars 11 blend 23.
I agree, crawfish etouffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fair was just in town,
Oh yes.
which
And
only relates because, like, I'm too old to ride the ride, so I have to eat my way through the fair.
you good with the rice.
They had crab fries.
Crab fries.
Yeah, so it's like French fries with crab meat and remoulade.
Whoa.
Would be amazing with this wine. They also had crawfish etouffee if you wanted that, alligator on a stick, and a giant corn dog. So
Never seen that at
I
a
didn't
fair.
eat all of those. I did eat all of those.
Oh, bacon wrapped corn dog.
I like it. You know, I like the
wrapped
bacon.
Turducken.
In LA, we always did the bacon wrap hot dog with the pico
Oh,
de
the
gallo and
Sonoran.
the avocado.
Oh, yeah.
I would with all 3 of these wines. I think they'd be amazing.
Yep,
So.
those are really good.
Does that have a name, the Sonoran? Is that what they call it?
Sonoran style hot dog. We had it one night. We became on first name basis with our room service guy,
Oh.
and
You can get this through room service? Where were you
the
guys?
Roosevelt.
Oh,
And as we would
that's
stagger in, I mean,
why.
to like night 3, the room service guy is just like walking by, and he's like just taking our order as he's walking, and yeah, it was that bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough. And
Wow.
the corn that's rolled in butter and coated in cheese.
Corn porn.
Yeah, that.
And
And that's the only things I can really remember from the 3 a.m. room service. But yeah,
Wow.
it
So if
was-
you don't have room service in downtown LA, they take milk crates and then they put sterno in the top and then they put a sheet tray over top and they turn that into a cooking element.
it's insane.
So if you're
And they turn around on these
camping,
little
I
carts.
didn't know they had those at room service. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
Wow, I need to stay at the Roosevelt.
Yes, you do. It's amazing. And speaking of haunted places, apparently they're also haunted.
Wow.
That was just
we
an
we
inside
were
thing.
we were
talking about
discussing,
haunted
you know,
earlier.
because harvest is coming up. The next moment I'm going to have to breathe. Maybe it's like late October, and the valley's full of interesting ghost stories, which I'm sure you'll hear later.
Absolutely. So stay tuned on CellarPass because we'll be talking all about it come harvest. More harvest than harvest is happening now.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today, our wonderful studio audience.
Yes,
for
thank you.
being
I've
here.
monopolized all your time, and I didn't allow you to talk. I'm sorry about that.
Catch us next week, same time, same bat channel, and we will have Hall Wines here with guest Chef Corey Beasley, and she's going to help us demystify food and wine pairings, which is the new experience here at Hall Wines. So tune in, check out CellarPass.com for all of these fabulous experiences, BCellars, and all of their new things, but don't
Yes.
look before August. And of course, all the upcoming ticketed events and more. So see you soon, and cheers to everyone. I'm your host, Sarah Elliman. Thank you for being here.
Cheers.